So, guess what, Taurus? It's your turn now. It's Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for November 2017, and that's you, Taurus. Okay, the only reason I'm having a feeling good humored about this is because I don't know how you either got to laugh or you're going to cry because, with this massive new wall of Scorpio type energy moving in, it's like maximum opposition. So if, dear Taurus, this is not an astrology channel. We sometimes chatter about it now and again, but we keep to the tarot because it gives us a lot of wiggle room. But, if you are feeling like it's like almost like the end of the rope, or like the shocking awareness things going on, or realizing maybe that it feels like there's a massive roadblock, or just an awareness of what's actually going on in love and relationship. It wouldn't be surprising because with that big wall of Scorpio's energy, I think right now it's probably like Sun, what is it? Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter, of course, the big new Jupiter in Scorpio transit. And then towards the end of the month, you got the new moon, Scorpio, and in the middle, you got the Taurus full moon. So it's going to be quite a month for you, Taurus. Just sort of, just so you know. So just remember, this is just a time period. It too shall pass. So don't take it too personally. Just, find a way to live through it all for the best of it. I mean, it might just be awesome for you. Who knows? Or it might be a challenge. Let's just see. But it's maximum opposition, like maxed out. Okay. So, but of course, we know that through opposition, that's how we get our most clarity, our most awareness, through the maximum of polarity. So anyway, cards are well shuffled in advance. You know that. You're a witness. No oracles, jumpers, no flyers, no reversals, none of it. It's just really simple. We're just going to tell a little story. There's you, there's the other, and there's the relationship itself. We're working here on significant relationships that have a little bit of substance, okay? Chosen relationships. And it's on the understanding that the relationship has an identity and a life of its own, and in a healthy relationship, everything is conducted through the relationship, and the relationship is nurtured and maintained, okay, for the benefit of the owners. Let's have a look. Okay, so cards are well shuffled in advance, even before recording. Now we're going to cut. Then we're going to see what kind of little story unfolds for us. Okay, let's just see what happens. The cuts are very, very random, but that's the whole idea. Okay, so this would be your energy, love energy, yourself, whatever that might be, however you want to interpret it. This would be a significant other. This would be going deep inside of you, Taurus, going deep inside a significant other. And this would be like the current energy of the relationship dynamics itself right now. So can you see the bowl shape here? Do you see what we're talking about? This is the crucible. This is what I think of as a crucible spread. And the whole idea is that in a healthy, loving relationship, the crucible is strong and it can endure the ultimate in intimacy and separation that happens with all of us. We intimate, we separate, just like waves in the ocean. And we're not just one stable, like flat line of, the tide never moves up or down. We're not like that. Human beings are very, very fluid. And we are affected by the external energies. So this would be, so in a healthy relationship, the crucible would be strong and well maintained. So especially for you, Taurus, because you like security and stability. So this would be the momentum, like where is this all going kind of thing. And this is going to be circumstantial energy. You're going to make the most of it, okay, Taurus? It's not going to own you. It's just sort of what's going on out there. Just like the weather, what are you going to do with it? And you've got Five of Wands. So it could indicate that it's like, I'm glad to see this because this is like bringing up energies to the surface that need to be expressed. So in other words, if you are feeling very polarized or let's say taken to your absolute limits of your abilities to cope in a relationship situation, in the dynamics overall, it seems like you're very aware of it and you're dealing with it and you're not letting it overwhelm you. You realize the circumstances, and it's like you're treating it as something that has to be dealt with, just as though you've been tapped on the shoulder and said, hey, you want to come and hang out with us? We're doing this cool game on the weekend. And everyone gets involved. There's no harm done, but it's just getting out there, making the best of the circumstances and figuring out what has to be figured out. Okay. It might be challenging. It might be very challenging, but it's the sort of energy where, for example, we're just talking about you, Taurus. Okay. This is not a couple's reading. This is your reading for you, and it does include a significant other. So this is your circumstantial energy. So you might be very aware of the polarizations that are happening right now and how it's taking you to the limits of your abilities. But that's a good thing because you're finding out a lot about yourself and how you can rise up to the challenge, so to speak. And it's almost like, let's say you're like maybe a gym or health freak or a jogger or something. You've decided, I'm pretty good at this, this, and this, and this, but it's time to really up the game because I can feel that there's more challenges that need to be met. The only way to do that is take myself to the limit, find out what the limits are, and then figure out what to do from there. It's like when they do, test piloting for things, for, balloons, trial balloons and sending up space rockets. They have to know what are the circumstances, what are the limitations here. Otherwise, we're just never going to evolve. So let's say you understand that, Taurus, what I was just talking about there, and you're taking full advantage of it. Let's have a look at you. So this is an indication that you're, even if it's very challenging for you right now in some ways, it's also kind of exciting because you realize that you are being taken to the limits of your abilities, and it might be taking you through a lot of emotional turbulence, but you're handling it, okay? In some way, in your Taurian way, because you love stability, you love things that work and that endure and that are safe and peaceful, you are taking your natural earth-like grounded type energies and you are systematically balancing things out as they need to be according to what works for you. Okay, this is your relationship reading. Okay, so if there's a lot of emotional turbulence happening inside of you at the deep gut soul level, it wouldn't be at all surprising. I mean, the Jupiter in Scorpio transit is going to take it right to the max. So you could be stretched absolutely to the maximum of your abilities to relate, perhaps taking you beyond whatever you understood or knew about relationships to this point in life. But you're dealing with it. You understand, like, gosh, it really is a challenge. You're rising to the challenge, and in so doing, you're figuring out what has to be figured out in order to, let's say, find stability, find anchorage, find safe harbor inside of yourself first and foremost, so that you are not just afloat and adrift, wandering around like a cork in the ocean. It's you are doing what you have to do to, let's say, manage the situation effectively for the good of yourself, for the good of the others, your loved ones, and perhaps a significant other as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the other. Okay, we've got the King of Cups here. So, Taurus, you might be relating with someone who's already, let's just say, highly evolved in their own way, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. And they understand what you're going through, and they are maintaining their sovereignty of self, not only for themselves, but for the benefit of you, Taurus, and for the benefit of the relationship. Because if you want to draw parallels here, there's an equal amount of turbulence going on in the world of a significant other here. Can you see all this like raging ocean around the outside of the King of Cups here? And here we are, the King of Cups maintaining calm and stability throughout all of it. They're perfectly aware of the dynamics that you might be struggling with, Taurus. And yet, because let's just say there's a lot of love here, serious love, the real thing, the big deal, they're okay with that. And they're perfectly willing to hold on to the, let's say, all the classic characteristics of a loving profile to be there for you as your significant mate while you figure out all the stuff that you have to figure out in order to find harmony and balance within oneself, because that's what people do in the context of a loving relationship. So it looks right now, Taurus, that you are relating with someone who really loves you and who really, really cares. and they also love themselves very, very dearly, and they love the relationship very dearly, and they're not going to let anything go to waste with that or tip anything over. It's just a, let's just say it's part of this period, this little chapter in life, this chapter in your evolution, Taurus, this chapter in the evolution of yourself, the evolution of your relationships, both of it, all of it, in the context of a significant other who understands and who's there for you, just like they are there for themselves anyway. Okay? So I see that as a good thing. I see that as a very good thing for you. Okay? Especially as you struggle to get through things, whatever you have to figure out, which is, I don't see this as their battle. I see this as your battle, Taurus, and you're figuring it out because you've got someone who's holding up very, very strong in terms of the energy of polarity. In a good, solid relationship, especially when you're dealing with opposites on oppositions, which is happening right now for you in the Scorpio November type season, you get the maximum polarity, the maximum opposition. So it's like this. It's a relationship which is all about, the most pure form of reflection. So that's what happens with oppositions. It's not this, and it's not this. It's not this, it's not this. It's full on opposition. And that can be the toughest time period or time crunch in any relationship because there's nowhere to hide. You're getting the full on face on reflection. But guess what? They're getting it too. And it's worth it. And that's what happens in truly loving relationships where people are willing to go to this limit, this degree of pressure in order to enjoy the full benefits of a loving relationship. In other words, it's like, I love you, but every now and again it's going to get like this or this or this or this, but sometimes it gets like this, and these can be the scariest, toughest, most challenging moments when it's literally like face on, when you get a full-blown reality check of oneself and the other, and the truth is exposed. We don't have any like swords cards here yet or anything, but we'll see. Let's have a look. What's going on inside you? Kerblam! Wow! Yay! I am indestructible. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. It doesn't matter how challenging it's gonna get. I know everything's gonna be okay because I got this inside of me. Yay, yay, yay! I am the love. I am the light, and nobody can take this from me. I'm just talking about you, Taurus. Okay, I'm pretending I'm you. So deep down, it's almost like you seek the light, you own the light, you have the light, you're aware of the light, and that light is love. Okay? It's like you have that. You are the love light, and you're radiating that deep down inside, no matter what kind of turbulence is going on here in your, let's say, day-to-day waking life. Deep down, it's almost like you've got this. This is indestructible. Nothing can tamper with this. Nothing will destroy this. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on with them or anything. They might have a whole pile of turbulence going on in their world, but they're not letting it disturb them because there's a good chance in this type of relationship dynamic that they are fully aware of this inside of you. And this is incredibly valuable in the context of a loving relationship, even if it's not, fully displayed on the surface, because Taurus, you can be very, let's say, demure. Doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It's not like, it doesn't have to be very flamboyant. This can be just like the rich, luscious energy of someone who radiates that kind of light and love and happiness and joy at the very core without having to splash it all over the world or tell everybody. It's just an aura. It's a very, very, very powerful love aura. Let's put it that way. So it looks like, my guess is that you've got someone, Taurus, at your deep core, have this, and you've got someone who gets it. They think, whoa, that's the ultimate. I really want some of that. I want some of that. And you sort of like, well, okay, let's relate. And they kind of go like, whoa, man, that's bright. Ow, wow, that really like puts me at my limits. And you're saying to yourself like, wow, I had no idea myself, because you, dear one, are being an awesome reflector, and now I'm seeing my own awesomeness and light inside too. But I have to admit, I am struggling with this. Not sure what to do. Let's have a look. Let's go deeper inside of the other, okay? So it looks like they are in a holding pattern. Okay, with the Two of Swords here, I have a feeling for you, Taurus, that this significant other is fully aware of your dynamics and your situation, and they're going to let it play out because they understand that they are an individual in their own right. It's very important for the health of the relationship in this context when you're at this kind of level of relationship dynamics. It's very important for the significant other, and they know that, to maintain their integrity when you're getting to this level of reflection in relationship, because that's when there's the maximum pressure. And this person over here, Taurus, would not be behaving that way and maintaining their sovereignty and integrity and strength to be a very good mirror, indestructible, clear, flat, shiny, well-maintained mirror that works very, very well for you, because they know, 6 months later from now, it might be a situation where this whole thing is reversed. You get it? So they are investing in the future on the understanding that there's going to come a time where this significant other is really going to need that kind of degree of integrity and honesty and strength and clarity and purity from you, Taurus, in order for them to get through the next phase of their life. And that's how you keep investing long-term in relationships. But from their perspective, deep down, it looks right now they're making a decision to hold back any significant important decisions while you figure out what you have to figure out. In other words, they are simply making the decision to stay there. Okay? In other words, they're exercising their right to decide not to decide. In other words, they're just going to sit there like that for you, for the duration as necessary, while you get the reflections of who you are and what's going on, so that you can figure out what you have to do to be the best of who you are, so that the best of you shines forth coming out of this new chapter. Okay? So, in other words, there's no flustering here with the Two of Swords. Yeah, it makes it look like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. No, 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 no. I don't see that here for you, Taurus. I see it as a very calculated move to decide not to decide, a deliberate way for them to stay neutral, hold the posture while you and all your ups and downs, in other words, they're staying here rock solid for you, their full sovereign self, while you kind of go around getting a good reflection of yourself, figuring out what to do, and then you translate that back into your day-to-day life and figure out, oh, I kind of understand a bit better now. And so let's see what happens towards the end of November. We'll keep an eye on the full moon, we'll keep an eye on the new moon, and go from there. And they're saying, exactly, my dear. Thank you very much. I'm glad you understand. Now I'm going to go back and take care of business, but I'm here. Okay? That's right. That's how they're doing it. So that's how I feel it for you. So what does that mean? Let's just have a look at the sort of like the energy going on in here. Okay. So with the Ten of Swords here, what's my feeling is what's happening is with these dynamics that we just described, it's allowing you, remember this is your reading, Taurus, for you. It's not a couple's reading. It's not as though this other person is there watching this for you or with you. This is all about you, Taurus, in the context of a relationship with a significant other. So in the relationship with a significant other, what might be happening is that you're realizing that it's the end of this. Like, you can't tolerate this kind of pain anymore, but you couldn't have ever understood what it was or even known that this was an option for you. In other words, you have, by this person holding themselves here, holding themselves true to themselves here, it's allowing you, Taurus, through the context of a relationship to realize that, gosh, I've been a pincushion all this time for other people, and I have brought on a lot of pain and suffering onto myself. I have allowed this to happen, and others have done this to me, and it's also possibly an ingredient which because it's part of the relationship dynamic itself, it feels like the core of the relationship. It would be very easy for Taurus to blame that on the significant other, whereas it's actually in the context of the relationship itself, and all that's happening is the significant other is reflecting this back to you so that you get a fuller understanding of your life and your world. In other words, going back to classic tarot illumination, ways of thinking, you got to reveal it to heal it. So as painful as it might be, This could be seen as a really good like healing opportunity. In other words, the Jupiter and Scorpio transit could be really, really healing and really beneficial for you because you get to realize everything that was wrong, that could go wrong, and how and why it ever came to be, and how we're going to fix it. Because guess what? There is new light on the horizon. Yay! So this chapter, this time period could be extremely challenging for you as an individual Taurus, but in the context of a relationship, it can bring out the best of you because as you wrestle with yourself in the context of the relationship, as reflected back to you by a significant other who, excuse me, truly cares. Sorry, I got that mixed up. Forgive me. You get to figure out everything that was wrong, how you were the source of your own self undoing, how others took advantage of that, and how all of this was kind of inevitable. But now you get to figure it out. You get to figure it out because you got a mirror there that's there for you. So that please, please treat this as really good news, Taurus, okay? You got to reveal it to heal it. The more you resist the need for healing, the more the need for healing persists. And it's over. It's done. There's enough wounding, there's enough pain, there's enough damage, there's enough suffering to have taken down anyone, even the strongest of all Taurians. And that's enough. Enough. It's time to move on from there and evolve from there. And this is a golden opportunity, and you know it. You know it deep down inside, Taurus. Okay, let's have a look. Beautiful. It's a balancing out. It's balancing out in a way that Taurus can understand. Tangible, workable ways that have to be figured out and fought out inside of yourself for the benefit of yourself in the context of a loving relationship, even though it might feel that all these stressors have piled up. That's actually the doorway and the opening to a rebalancing where, let's say, the laws of karma come into play again, where you fully understand that, wow, I really was the person who was investing in my own pain and suffering. I just didn't know it. I also realized that I am also very kind of deeply loved and appreciated by others. And it's cyclical. It goes back and forth. It goes up and down. Sometimes I am the receiver. Sometimes I am the giver. Sometimes I am, I'm the one who's impoverished. Sometimes I'm the one who's wealthy. Whatever it is, it's all sort of justifiable and it's all balanced through this awareness, like this awareness of everything that could go wrong and that had gone wrong now coming to the surface so that it can be balanced out, so that you can start a new way of being where you start to be a lot kinder and more generous to yourself, and you can allow others to be that way to you. In other words, however you were conducting yourself in the past, you can have now a completely new perspective about how to conduct yourself in the future. I'm not seeing a lot of guidelines about what that would be, like a new code of operation, new practices and everything, but this could be a doorway, like an awakening moment where you've got now the chance to figure it out, okay? I hope that makes sense. That's how I'm feeling in terms of a story, if I actually had to write a storybook here for you. So it's also very harmonizing because it's also, with this card here in this position, what it tends to do, my feeling is that it brings a lot of harmony and balance between yourself and a significant other in a way that works, okay? And it does take work. It's all about the juggling and the balancing that has to go on in significant relationships for them to work, for them to endure the turbulence and the ups and down moments, especially these moments when you are taken to the absolute limits of yourself and you're dealing with someone else who's almost at the limits of their selves, but they're holding it up for you because they love you and you are full of light and love as far as they're concerned. They're not going to waste that or anything, but it's a stark awakening for you in the context of a relationship. So please see this as a blessing, Taurus. And it's very, let's say, nutritious and balancing and harmonizing for you in the long run. Going forward from here, let's say, once you start cruising through and out the other side of this time period, this very, very polarizing, like Scorpio time period with that full moon and the new moon coming at the end of November, and the the trail effect that's going to happen for a few weeks after that as well. Okay, so thank you very much for choosing Terra Illumination. I hope you got something out of it. Bye bye, Taurus. Bye bye.